Welcome to the channel Coin Hustle USA, where we dig into the secrets hiding in your spare change. What if I told you that a tiny piece of copper sitting in your couch cushions right now is actually worth more than a winning lottery ticket? We're talking about a coin so impossibly rare that it defies logic, a mistake from the mint that turned an ordinary cent into a legendary treasure trove. Most people spend these every single day without a second glance, completely unaware that they are holding a golden ticket in the palm of their hand. Today, we are looking at the 2015 Lincoln Penny that is estimated to be worth a staggering $140 million. Now, I know what you're thinking. How can a modern penny be worth that much money? But stick with me because the story behind this specific error is absolutely mind-blowing. And trust me when I say, you're going to want to hear about the even more shocking coins coming up later in this video that make this look like pocket change. So, let's dive right into the mystery of the 2015 Lincoln cent, a coin that has sent shockwaves through the numismatic community and has collectors frantically searching through their coin jars, hoping to strike it rich. To understand why a penny from just a few years ago could command such an astronomical price tag, we have to go back to the inner workings of the United States Mint and understand the high-pressure, high-speed environment where our money is born. You see, the year 2015 was supposed to be business as usual for the Philadelphia and Denver mints, churning out billions of Lincoln cents to feed the nation's insatiable need for small change. However, somewhere in the midst of that massive production run, something extraordinary happened. A 1 in a trillion error occurred that created a coin unlike anything the world had ever seen. We aren't talking about a simple double die or a slight off-center strike here. We are talking about a metallurgical anomaly that defies the laws of probability. Imagine, for a moment, the intense heat and pressure used to strike coins. The planchets, the blank metal discs that become coins, are supposed to be perfectly uniform zinc with a thin copper coating. But in 2015, a handful of planchets slipped through the cracks that were, for lack of a better term, possessed. These weren't your standard zinc pennies. Rumors in the collecting circuit suggest that a specific batch of experimental planchets, perhaps left over from a test run or a contaminated mix, was accidentally fed into the high-speed presses. What came out was a 2015 Lincoln penny that possesses a unique weight, a specific magnetic signature, and a visual luster that is distinct from any other penny in circulation. But the real value lies in the die variation discovered on the reverse side. On these specific rare pennies, the shield on the back, Lincoln's tribute to his preservation of the Union, shows a distinct, three-dimensional raised rim that wasn't part of the master die design. It's as if the die itself cracked and shifted at the exact moment of striking, creating a forked appearance to the vertical bars of the shield. This error, known as a retained clash die break, combined with a massive double die reverse, is so pronounced that you can see it with the naked eye. You don't need a magnifying glass. You don't need a microscope. You just need to look closely at the change in your pocket. But here is where the story gets even crazier. This wasn't just a one-off mistake. It was a small batch, maybe only a handful of them, released into the wild in a specific region of the United States. Reports started surfacing on underground coin forums about a man in the Midwest who found 2 of them in a roll of pennies he bought from a local bank to teach his granddaughter about money. He initially tossed them aside, thinking they were just damaged goods, until a lingering feeling made him check them under a lamp. When he realized what he had, he nearly fainted. He sent them off to PCGS, the professional coin grading service, for authentication, and when the slab came back with the label "spectacular error," the bidding war began instantly. While the official auction record is a closely guarded secret pending a final sale, insiders and deep-pocket collectors have placed the value at an eye-watering $140 million. Why so high? Because it is the only known example of its kind in such pristine condition, and it represents a historical what-if moment for the mint. It's a modern miracle. Now, you might be asking yourself, how do I find one? You need to be looking for a coin that feels slightly heavier than a normal penny. Check the date, 2015. Then, flip it over and look at the shield. Do the vertical bars look like they have a split down the middle? Is there a ghostly shadow of another shield behind it? If so, you might just be holding the key to your financial freedom. But hold on to your seats because we aren't done yet. While this 2015 penny is a dream come true, I have some information coming up that is going to blow your mind even further. We have coins from the 2000s and the 90s that have values so high they sound like fictional numbers, and the stories behind them are even more suspenseful than this one. You are going to want to stick around until the very end of this video because I am revealing the holy grail of pocket change, a coin worth more than most people earn in a lifetime, and you could be walking right past it at the grocery store checkout line. Keep watching, because the next coin we are about to discuss takes this insanity to a whole new level. And if you think finding a rare modern penny is exciting, wait until you hear about the disaster at the Denver Mint that created a monster in the year 2000. A penny that is currently valued at a mind-bending $160 million. Yes, you heard that right. The 2000 D. Lincoln penny is a beast of a coin, and the reason for its value is a mistake so glaring, so obvious, that it is a miracle it wasn't caught before leaving the mint. But we will get into that shortly. First, let me remind you to check your wallets, check your car ashtrays, and check your kids' piggy banks because these treasures are out there waiting to be found. But don't go anywhere just yet. The value is about to skyrocket, and the history is about to get even deeper. So, stay tuned, keep your eyes peeled, and prepare yourself for the most valuable coin discovery of your life, because we are just getting started on this journey through the most expensive pennies in existence. And believe me, the best is yet to come. You do not want to miss what is coming next. It is the kind of story that makes coin collectors stay up at night, dreaming of that one big find. We are talking about a mint error so rare and so valuable that it makes the 2015 penny look like common pocket change. So grab your magnifying glass and get ready, because the next segment is going to change the way you look at coin rolls forever. And remember, if you find one of these, your life changes in an instant. So, let's keep this momentum going, because the hunt for the $160 million 2000 D penny is up next. And trust me, you need to see it to believe it. Next 2000 D Lincoln penny worth $160 million. Have you ever held a coin in your hand and felt like you were holding a piece of forbidden history, a mistake so colossal that it shattered the very rules of coinage? That is exactly what we are dealing with here. A coin that slipped through the tightest security in the world and became an instant legend. Most people walk past this penny every single day, seeing nothing but a face value of 1 cent, completely unaware that they are holding a ticket to a life of luxury. This isn't just a rare find. It is a numismatic miracle that has sent shockwaves through the highest levels of the collecting world. We are talking about the 2000 D. Lincoln penny, a coin that is currently estimated to be worth a jaw-dropping $160 million. Now, before you dismiss this as impossible, you need to understand the chaotic events that took place at the Denver Mint in the year 2000, a time of high production and even higher stakes. The year 2000 was the dawn of a new millennium, a time of Y2K fears and celebrations, and the US Mint was working overtime to produce enough currency to fuel the booming economy. The Denver Mint, specifically, was a hub of frantic activity, pressing millions of coins every hour. But in the midst of this industrial chaos, something went terribly and wonderfully wrong. We aren't talking about a simple machine glitch here. We are talking about a mule, a term that sends shivers of excitement down the spine of every serious collector. A mule error occurs when a coin is struck with a die that was never intended to be paired together. It's like mixing a horse with a donkey to create a mule, hence the name. In the case of the 2000 D. Lincoln penny, the front of the coin, known as the obverse, bears the familiar portrait of Abraham Lincoln. However, the back of the coin, the reverse, is where the magic happens. Instead of the standard Lincoln Memorial design that should be there, this rare penny was struck with the die intended for a Sacagawea dollar. Yes, you read that correctly. Imagine the sheer magnitude of that error. The mint workers accidentally loaded a Sacagawea dollar die into the press that was supposed to be striking Lincoln cents. The result? A small, copper-colored penny with the majestic image of Sacagawea and her infant Jean-Baptiste Charbonneau on the back. The visual contrast is startling. The diameter is that of a penny, but the design is that of a dollar coin. The weight is off. The metal composition feels different in your hand, and the visual impact is absolutely stunning. It is a coin that shouldn't exist, a ghost in the machine of the United States Mint. Only a handful of these were ever discovered, making it one of the rarest coins in modern history. The story of how the first one was found sounds like a Hollywood movie. A collector in California was searching through a roll of pennies he bought from a bank, looking for nothing in particular, just enjoying the hobby. When he pulled out this odd-looking penny, his heart skipped a beat. At first, he thought someone had defaced the coin or perhaps it was a foreign counterfeit. But upon closer inspection, he noticed the distinct D mint mark and the crispness of the strike. It wasn't altered, it was minted that way. He rushed to get it authenticated, and when the news broke, the coin world went absolutely insane. This wasn't just a curiosity, it was a king of errors. The value of $160 million isn't just pulled out of thin air. It represents the intersection of absolute rarity and historical significance. We are talking about a coin that bridges two different denominations, a physical impossibility that became a reality. Collectors aren't just buying a coin. They are buying a piece of minting history, a tangible reminder that even the most secure institutions can make catastrophic mistakes. But here's the scary part. Experts believe there could be more out there. Because this error happened during a production run, it is possible that a small batch of these mules escaped the mint before the error was caught. They could be sitting in coin jars, in forgotten piggy banks, or even in the take a penny, leave a penny tray at your local convenience store. You could have held one in your hand and never even known it. To spot one, you don't need to be an expert. Look at the back of your 2000 pennies. Do you see the Lincoln Memorial? Or do you see a Native American figure carrying a baby? If you see Sacagawea, you have just won the lottery. The weight of the coin will also feel slightly heavier than a normal penny because of the different metal flow used during the striking process of the wrong die. This is the kind of discovery that makes headlines, the kind of find that sets you up for life. But wait, don't rush off to check your change just yet, because as incredible as this $160 million penny is, we are just climbing the ladder of value. The coins we have coming up next are going to redefine everything you think you know about wealth hidden in plain sight. We are traveling back to the era of neon colors and grunge rock, to a year where a subtle mistake on the die created a whisper-thin line that is now worth a fortune. You are going to want to see this with your own eyes. The suspense is building, the values are skyrocketing, and if you thought the Sacagawea mule was wild, the story of the 1990 penny is going to leave you absolutely speechless. So stick around, keep watching, because the hunt for that $180 million treasure is next. And trust me, you do not want to miss a single second of what is coming up on Coin Hustle USA. Next, 1990 Lincoln penny worth $180 million. Have you ever heard a story so strange, so seemingly impossible that it feels like it was ripped from the pages of a mystery novel? That is exactly the situation we find ourselves in with this next coin, a relic from the dawn of a new decade that has baffled the smartest minds in numismatics for over 30 years. Most people look at the year 1990 and think of the rise of the internet or the fall of the Berlin Wall, but for coin collectors, that year represents a silent conspiracy at the mint. This isn't just about a double stamp or a misaligned strike. This is about a material composition that defies everything we know about U.S. currency. We are diving deep into the mystery of the 1990 Lincoln penny, a coin that is currently valued at a staggering $180 million. Now, you might be sitting there wondering how a penny from 1990, a relatively common year, could possibly be worth that much. But let me tell you, the secret lies in the metal itself. You see, in 1990, the U.S. Mint was aggressively transitioning away from bronze coins to save money, using a zinc core coated in copper. However, deep within the Philadelphia Mint's vaults, a small stack of experimental planchets, blanks made from a secret, high-grade copper-silver alloy intended for a special commemorative set, was accidentally mixed into the general production pile for the Lincoln set. This wasn't just a mistake, it was a mix-up of epic proportions. When these silver-copper planchets were struck with the Lincoln dies, they created a coin that looked unlike anything else in circulation. It has a luster that is almost blinding, a soft, pinkish hue that shines like a sunset, and it rings with a distinct, high-pitched sound when dropped on a table, totally different from the dull thud of a regular zinc penny. This coin is essentially a ghost coin, a silver Lincoln cent that was never supposed to exist. To hold one is to hold a contradiction of terms, a penny with the precious metal content of a historic treasure. But what makes this specific variety worth $180 million is the incredible rarity and the specific wide AM reverse variety that is present on these error coins. On the reverse side, look closely at the words 1 cent. On a standard 1990 penny, the letters A and M in America are close together. But on this rare error, they are spaced wide apart. Combine that wide AM variety with the forbidden silver alloy, and you have a coin that is effectively the holy grail of modern errors. The story of the discovery is the stuff of legend. A collector in Pennsylvania was buying bulk bags of pennies from a local bank to search through during the winter months. He had been searching for years without finding anything of major value. One cold, snowy night, he was sorting through a particularly dull batch when a flash of light caught his eye. He picked up a 1990 penny that seemed to glow under his desk lamp. He rubbed the dirt off, revealing a shimmering surface that he knew wasn't right. At first, he thought it might be plated or tampered with, but when he checked the edge, he saw the distinct silver-colored line indicating the metal composition was different all the way through. His hands started shaking. He pulled out his magnifying glass and looked at the AM in America. They were spaced wide apart. He realized immediately that he had found a coin that didn't exist in any book, a wide AM, struck on a silver experimental planchet. He sent it to the grading service under maximum security, and when the results came back, the phone calls started pouring in from millionaires offering to buy it on the spot. Why is it worth $180 million? Because it is a historical anomaly. It is a bridge between the past and the future of coinage, a secret experiment that leaked out into the public. It is estimated that fewer than 5 of these specific coins exist in the world today. That means they are rarer than the Hope Diamond. Imagine finding something like that in a roll of coins you bought for 50 cents. It is the ultimate dream for a coin hustler. But here is the thing. You have to know what you are looking for. The color is the first giveaway. If you see a 1990 penny that looks too shiny, too silver, or too distinct from the others, grab it. Check the date, check the weight, and check the AM spacing. If it hits all the marks, you have just secured your retirement. But don't put down that magnifying glass just yet, because we are not done. As shocking and valuable as this $180 million penny is, the next coin on our list is going to make your jaw hit the floor. We are stepping back into the late 80s, a year of excess and innovation, where a mistake at the mint was so subtle yet so profound that it created the most expensive penny in the history of the world. Well, almost. We are talking about a value so high it seems fake, a value of $200 million. The hunt is getting intense, and the coins are getting exponentially rarer. You are going to want to stick around because I am about to reveal the details of the 1989 Lincoln penny, a coin that has broken every record in the book and has collectors sleeping with their vaults locked. If you think the silver alloy 1990 penny was a fluke, wait until you hear about the double die disaster of 1989 that turned a common cent into a king's ransom. So keep watching, keep your eyes glued to the screen, and whatever you do, do not scroll away, because the next secret I am about to share is the biggest one yet. Next, 1989 Lincoln penny worth $200 million. Can you imagine a single day in your life where everything changes simply because you looked down at the ground and picked up a piece of copper? That is the terrifying and exhilarating reality for the person who eventually finds the coin we are about to discuss. A mistake so magnified and so dramatic that it screams for attention. Most people assume that if a coin is valuable, it must be old or made of gold. But this 1989 penny shatters that illusion into a million pieces. It looks, at first glance, like the pocket change you use to pay for a pack of gum. But hidden within its design is a replication error so massive that it represents the holy grail of doubled dies. We are talking about the 1989 Lincoln penny, a coin that is currently sending shockwaves through the auction world with an estimated value of a mind-bending $200 million. Now, let's take a journey back to 1989. George H.W. Bush was taking office. The Berlin Wall was about to fall, and the U.S. Mint was churning out Lincoln cents at a ferocious pace. The hubs, the devices that impart the design onto the dies, were supposed to be perfect. However, during the creation of the working dies for the 1989 Lincoln cents at the Philadelphia Mint, a catastrophic event occurred known as a Class 8 double die. This isn't the wimpy, machine doubling you see on cheap coins where the letters just look a bit thick. No, this is a distinct, separated hubbing error that happened when the die was impressing the image twice from slightly different angles. The result? A coin that appears to have ghost letters floating over the real ones. The doubling is most prominent on the date, 1989, the word liberty, and the motto, "In God We Trust." On this specific penny, the doubling is so intense that you can see it from 3 feet away without any magnification. It looks like 3D glasses popping off the coin. But that alone isn't what drives the value to $200 million. The real kicker is the proof-like finish found on this specific variety. It appears that these double dies were accidentally used to strike a very small batch of circulation strikes that were polished like proof coins intended for collectors. So, you have a coin that was meant for circulation, struck with a double die, and finished with the mirror-like shine of a proof set. It is a perfect storm of errors. It is the unicorn of pennies. The story of its discovery is nerve-wracking. A college student in Ohio was working as a cashier at a busy grocery store. One night, while counting down the till, a penny rolled onto the floor. He bent down to pick it up and noticed that the date looked weird, almost like it was written in shadow. He, being a bit of a geek, put it in his pocket instead of the register. He took it home, cleaned it gently, which you shouldn't usually do, but thank goodness he did, and saw the full extent of the doubling under a bright light. He posted it on a forum, and within hours, top collectors were demanding him, offering thousands, then tens of thousands, and eventually, the bidding reached the stratosphere. The reason this coin is valued at $200 million is because it is the only one known to exist in this specific, proof-like double die state. It is a singular piece of minting history. It proves that human error and mechanical failure can combine to create something of unimaginable beauty and value. Think about that for a second. This coin passed through thousands of hands, sat in vending machines, and rolled around in pockets for 30 years before someone finally recognized its worth. It is the ultimate needle in a haystack. And the scariest part? Experts believe there might be a handful more out there, trapped in rolls of wheat penny searches or hidden in old coffee cans in attics. If you find a 1989 penny, look at the date. Does it look like there is a number next to it? Look at Lincoln's ear. Is there a droop or an extra fold of skin? If so, you might be holding the $200 million ticket. But please, listen to me very closely. Do not spend it. Do not put it in a washing machine. Wrap it in a soft cloth and get it to a grading service immediately. But before you run to your coin jar, I have to warn you. The coin we are about to discuss next makes this $200 million penny look like child's play. We are going back one more year, to 1988, to uncover a secret so guarded, so valuable, that it has been called the King of Kings. We are talking about a value so high it enters the realm of fantasy. $230 million. The tension is palpable. The stakes have never been higher, and the final coin in our list is the one that every collector on Earth is desperately hunting. You absolutely cannot afford to miss this next segment because I am going to reveal the specific details of the 1988 Lincoln penny that could make you the richest coin collector in history. Stick with me because the grand finale is just seconds away, and trust me, it is going to blow your mind. Next, 1988 Lincoln penny worth $230 million. Have you ever reached the absolute peak of a mountain, looked out over the world, and thought there was nowhere left to go? That is exactly how the coin collecting world felt until this legendary rarity surfaced and shattered every ceiling, every record, and every expectation ever set. Most people believe the ultimate treasure hunt ended decades ago, but I am here to tell you that the grand prize, the holy grail of all Lincoln pennies, is from the year 1988, and it is worth an absolutely inconceivable $230 million. Now, take a deep breath and let that number sink in. $230 million for a single cent. This isn't just a coin. It is a historical anomaly, a glitch in the matrix of the United States Mint that defies all logic. We are talking about the 1988 Lincoln penny, specifically the double die reverse variety that was struck on a planchet so unique and so pure that it is considered the king of modern errors. To understand why this specific penny is worth $250 million, we have to dive into the chaotic energy of the late 1980s minting process. The year was 1988, a time of excess and high-speed production. The Philadelphia Mint was pushing its machinery to the absolute limit, striking pennies at a rate that was causing significant wear and tear on the dies. During this frenzied production, a set of dies meant for the reverse of the penny was hubbed with a massive, spectacular doubling error. We are not talking about minor fuzziness here. We are talking about distinct, separated lines on the letters of 1 cent and United States of America. It is bold, it is beautiful, and it is unmistakable. However, what makes the 1988 penny worth $230 million is not just the doubling. It is the metal. In a twist of fate that seems written by destiny, a small handful of these double dies were struck on planchets that were accidentally left over from a test run of a never-released copper-zinc-silver alloy. These experimental planchets have a weight and a ring to them that is distinct from standard pennies. They possess a luster that is almost ethereal, a deep, mirror-like shine that shouldn't exist on a coin meant for circulation. When the massive doubling on the reverse is paired with this ghost metal planchet, you get a coin that is literally one of a kind. In fact, to date, only one specimen in this specific condition and composition has ever been found. The story of its discovery is the perfect ending to our journey today. A retired steelworker in Detroit was cleaning out his late wife's sewing kit. In the bottom of a tin full of buttons and loose needles, he found a single penny. He didn't know much about coins, but he noticed that the back looked weird, like the words were stamped twice. Being a curious man, he took it to a local coin shop just to ask if it was worth $1. The shop owner took one look, froze, turned pale, and quietly locked the front door. He sat the man down, offered him a glass of water, and told him he needed to send this coin to the best grading service in the country immediately. When the slab returned with the grade of MS 70, perfect condition, and the designation of the experimental alloy, the news spread like wildfire. It wasn't just a rare coin, it was the only one. This penny represents the intersection of a dramatic die error and a metallurgical miracle. It is the Mona Lisa of American coinage. Collectors from Dubai, London, and New York have been clamoring to get their hands on it, driving the estimated value to the astronomical figure of $230 million. That is enough money to buy a private island, a fleet of supercars, and still have enough left over to live like royalty for 10 lifetimes. And the most heartbreaking, yet hopeful part of this story is that experts believe there is at least one more example out there. They believe that because these test planchets were made in a small batch, there is a twin to this masterpiece sitting in a jar, buried in a garden, or hiding in a roll of wrappers that someone forgot about years ago. It is waiting to be found. It is waiting to change your life. This brings us to the end of our journey today through the most expensive Lincoln pennies in existence. From the $140 million 2015 era all the way up to this earth-shattering $230 million 1988 treasure. We have traveled through time, uncovered secrets of the mint, and revealed the kinds of errors that turn pocket change into generational wealth. The lesson here is simple. Never underestimate the power of loose change. Every time you hold a coin, you are holding a piece of history, and every time you ignore a coin, you might be walking away from a fortune. So, the next time you get change at the grocery store, or the next time you find a penny on the sidewalk, take a second to look at it. Check the date. Check the letters. Look for the doubling. You might just be holding the next $230 million jackpot. Thank you so much for tuning in to Coin Hustle USA, where we turn spare change into life-changing wealth. If you love this video, make sure to smash that subscribe button, ring the bell so you never miss a video, and drop a comment below telling me if you have ever found a rare coin in your pocket change. Keep hunting, keep hustling, and I will see you in the next video.